Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, depending on where you are in the world today. And this comes with a huge welcome on behalf of USA Global TV and in affiliation with E360 TV. We're delighted to have you join us today and our panelists as we talk about menopausal, who, me? How to thrive before, during, and after. And we would love to encourage you to not only listen and observe, but contribute. If you would like to have your opinion aired on here, please do drop a comment in wherever you're watching from, and we'd love to include you in this show. Now, this show includes a group of panelists who I've grown to love and respect, and really enjoy stepping onto this platform as we discuss and compare notes on various subjects. And today's is quite an interesting one, as menopause is now being spoken about more and more, but still not enough, especially in the workplace where people suffer. So without much more ado, I'm going to invite up, first of all, Caroline Heward. Welcome, Caroline, from UK.
Woo! Good to be here, Janetta. Always lovely to be on this show. We share such insightful and interesting things, not only for ourselves, but for others. And I'm always pleased to be on this panel.
Yes, it's just, in fact, I come off this panel feeling really stimulated, because not only is it for our viewers, but I think it's really good for us to be able to compare notes, sometimes agree, not agree, agree to disagree. I believe that's where hearts open and new conversations and new ways are possible. And I just want to say also, give a little bit of background. We have Dr. Jacalyn in the background today. She's usually with us, and she is producing the show from behind the scenes as host for E360 TV as well. So wonderful to have Dr. Jacalyn with us and producing this whole show. I know it's where she loves being, so thank you for that. And then we wanted to also bring up and introduce Dr. Madalenecarolchan. Madalene, welcome.
Hello, Jenetta. Hi, Caroline. Hello, everyone. Absolutely super excited to be invited onto AWP. I just love this program, and I love our energies, how we synergize together, and how we've come from all different walks of life, all different parts of the globe, and how we are just magnetized. We're magnetic. It's fabulous. And of course, having Dr. Jacalyn as the producer behind, being the octopus working on the magic. Woo! Sorry.
It is really rather special. And I mean, some nights we do have a really United Nations. We've got 2 UK and me in Kenya, and of course, Dr. Jacalyn behind the scenes in Florida. But it's wonderful when we can become multinational, even bigger than this. And some nights it does happen. So let's get on with this amazing subject, in that all of us had a different stories backstage before we began. And this one was saying this and that and the other. So let's start with Dr. Chan. What do you think about menopause? where are your thoughts, and what's your input in it? Is it something that you're prepared for, you're comfortable with? What are your thoughts on it?
Very interesting, Janetta. Thank you. Sharing the spotlight on menopausal. Well, from a funny side, and this is how my mind works anyway, menopause, to me, it read as menopause. So men will pause because women go through all kinds of emotions, all kinds of changes in their body, whether they get really excited and want to become a little bit frivolous, or becoming a little bit more withdrawn, not interested in certain activities anymore. So, of course, the men are going to pause. So, as far as my creative, funny heart is, I always look at things in a different way. But on a serious level, my mom went through menopause, and she had terrible, violent moods. They were horrible, really horrible. It was horrible to be around. Talking for myself personally, I think I'm starting to go into menopausal. Obviously, I'm going to find out from as we go along with this program. But yeah, let's just see if that's answered your question.
Oh, yeah, you're breaking up every now and then. So
Right.
I think, can you hear? Okay, wonderful. Oh, Maria Eduardo, welcome. Good morning to you, and welcome. We would love your comments, your input. Please do join us in the comments. It's great to have you here. Now, Caroline, I know we were talking about what the symptoms of menopause are, and we might have some men sitting watching tonight going, okay, tell me about it, because what the heck? So would you like to give an opinion on what you feel about menopause and what menopause is?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Thanks, Janetta. Menopause, in terms of the understanding that we're given in terms of what happens to the body, is very different from my own personal perspective and my own personal experiences. So let's begin with what is told to us as to what to expect. And that is that the body changes. Instead of being ready to ovulate and give birth, the body stops in that space of ovulating every month, and so that stops the opportunity for pregnancy. So that's the first thing to understand. And so when I was very young, my parents both sat me down at 21, and they said that they were concerned that I needed to settle down, because sooner or later, time was running out for my body clock. And I remember saying to them, well, I feel too young for that, and I don't believe in this body clock thing. And when I find the right person, I will have children, but it has to be with the right person. And so I didn't actually subscribe to the thought and to the process of menopause. And I never really took it on board or believed it to be true, because I always felt forever young. And I still feel the same. And my doctor's surgery said that they wanted to do tests to see if I was menopausal, and to promote and suggest some HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. And I was very much against that, because I don't take any type of medication apart from natural and complementary therapies. So they were really insistent at the age of, I think it's about 55. And they were very pushy and said they wanted to do some tests because they were very concerned. So they did some tests, and they came back in a way that they were not expecting. And the person that saw me was a nurse who had known me for many years. And she said, well, you know, your liver's okay, and your hormones are okay, and this is okay, and that's okay. And so I says, come on, tell me, you know, sort of this thing that you thought that I was having, tell me where I am with it, because I don't believe I'm menopausal. And she says, well, you're right. She said, the count for hormones to be menopausal is 35, and your count is 7. And I said, I'm not sure what that means. And she then further explained, she said, the fact that you don't feel that you're menopausal or going through the menopause or have been, she said, is absolutely true for you. Medically, you are you're very fertile at the age of a very young person. And I said, oh, right. Well, that's interesting, because I've never really believed in it. I didn't feel like I was menopausal, and yet I hear all these horror stories about the symptoms that people go through. So because from a young age, I didn't ever subscribe to the ideology of menopause, I believe that it just hasn't happened to me or will happen to me. So I do need to be a little careful when I do end up in a relationship, to be cautious. And I'm sure that with the right person that I will still, at the age of 59, 60 or plus, actually have the opportunity to have children. Other people suffer dramatically in terms of mood swings and all sorts of awful symptoms in terms of sweats. The body goes through all sorts of deterioration in terms of skin, hormonal activity, and stress and irritability. So, you know, and I've seen evidence of that, and it really horrifies me. But I haven't actually had a period for a long time, and that still makes me very fertile. And that's because the period ovulation is to clear the body and to clear all the toxins out of the body.
I'm having a giggle here because we've got Dr. Jacalyn saying, what? Caroline's going to have a baby. Who's holding the baby?
Who knows?
Oh my God.
Who knows?
Maria,
if you're meant to, you will, Caroline.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Maria Eduardo says, sad to say, but at my tender age, unfortunately, I have weight issues due to this. And yes, that's one of the things that really does pile on, and you get very buxom and hippie and all sorts of things. And she continues to say, strongly, I went in menopause after receiving a shock during Hurricane Irma. Wow, gosh, Maria. So it was a lot of PTSD by the sound of it. And after 2 months, I visited my doctor and he laughed and said it's impossible. And after I ran a test, I was informed that the percentage was very high. What a thing to deal with. It's quite a thing. And I do, those of you who know me know that I'm very passionate about the fact that dis-ease means we're not at ease with ourselves, and it causes complications in various parts of our body when we're not at ease with ourselves, whether it be PTSD or over worrying or whatever. And, you know, I had a similar really weird situation with my menopause. I'm now 65. I'm not having any more babies. I'm not joining you, Caroline. Had there been there. But for me, I had cancer at the age of 39, 40. And I was actually airlifted out of Kenya down to South Africa and operated on, and everything was removed bar my ovaries. They thought that that would be all right. It was in the uterus. And that was that until I went to see my gynecologist, who was a really interesting kettle of fish, really, because he sat there very full of himself, very clearly doesn't understand how a woman thinks or feels. And he threw a whole load of tablets at me and some papers and said, you do realize you're now an it. And you've had radiation treatment, which has shut down your ovaries now for good. and you need to go on to HRT. So I sat there and I folded my arms and I said, I'm not going on to unnatural HRT. It's apart from anything, my cancer was created from too much estrogen. And now you're wanting to put artificial estrogen into my body when my estrogen levels are high, and you haven't even checked where my estrogen levels are, and I'm going to do this naturally. And he was so angry with me that he said, yeah, you know, this is the thing, you're in it now, and you're going to age and become an old woman before you can blink, because without those hormones you begin to look very old. Well, I don't exactly look 20, I have got quite a lot of lines and wrinkles, but, you know, I'm 65 and it's about aging gracefully. And I have put on a fair amount of weight in the last, funnily enough, during COVID, it started coming in. So, Maria, that's very similar to what you were saying. I do believe the stress of COVID more than likely pushed that side effect. But apart from that, I had no other side effects. I didn't have the hot flashes, the mood swings, the sleeplessness. Well, mind you, I don't need much sleep anyway at the best of times. And so I've been doing pretty well with the menopause. The side effects of radiation treatment, another story for another time. But menopause has been a pretty good journey, and I've been using a lot of natural progesterone cream from a yam from South America, and that has really helped me. So that's my story. So Dr. Jacalyn's put here, menopause during perimenopause. Interesting. Your periods may seem to have stopped, but then they start up again. That can happen many times, which can trick you into thinking you've reached menopause, even though you haven't. That's when a lot of women at our age suddenly have a late baby, because they think they've hit menopause and suddenly a bubby is on the way. If it's been an entire year since it's your last period, you've reached menopause. For most women, this occurs somewhere between the ages of 40 and 55, with an average trusted source age of 51. And once you've reached menopause, your LH and FSH levels remain high, and your estrogen and progesterone. And Dr. Jacalyn's just pulled this off from the internet. So once you've reached menopause, your LH and FSH levels remain high, and your estrogen and progesterone levels remain low. And it's interesting, I did quite a lot of research at the time, because your estrogen goes up when you ovulate. So if you did a timeline, this is the beginning of your month, and then your estrogen levels rise and then come down. And when you ovulate, your progesterone peaks in the middle of that month. So progesterone is part of the ovulation. And what happens when you go into menopause is all of it drops, but you've still got a level of estrogen that is there, whereas the progesterone tends to flatline a little bit. So it's that's what my studies showed when I was going through it. And so yeah, that's basically it. And then Dr. Jacalyn's also said you no longer ovulate and you cannot conceive a child. Yeah, and you eventually don't have a period either. And it's being able to start a new life. And I'd love to get the opinion of our other two panelists on this, because for me at 40, there was a part of me that grieved being what I was and now no longer was. That label was gone, and I couldn't have children, not that I wanted any, but my label was gone in being a fertile woman, and now I wasn't. So I'd love you to share your thoughts and fears, or if there are any, in terms of menopause. What does it mean to you going through menopause? Do you feel you can handle it, or is it something that you know is going to be quite a thing to get through? Caroline.
I was going to say, yeah. Okay.
No,
No, Caroline, go ahead.
I personally I personally don't feel uncomfortable about any of it because I haven't taken on, you know, whatever happens, happens, but I haven't taken on the story of menopause. And I haven't taken on, you know, right from a very young age, I just didn't believe that I had a body clock. I said, who told us that? And I'm sure that the Aboriginal tribes don't have this understanding. And so I've never really kind of thought anything about it. I hear everybody else suffering, and I'm just thinking, well, you know, I would rather not be putting myself in that situation of thinking that I would suffer in that way. And I have been medically advised that I'm extremely fertile. So that from that perspective, you know, the ovulation process is essentially when a woman has a period, it is essentially to get rid of all the toxin in the body so that the body becomes pure to incubate the baby. And I mean, I stopped seeing periods over 20 years ago, but I was categorically told that I am not in the menopause. And I did suffer extensively when I was young with my monthly periods, to the point that the doctors said that at 19 years old that it was so bad for me and I couldn't work that they put me on the pill. And that was something that was very challenging for me to manage the symptoms. And so I'm actually really relieved that that is no longer an issue for me, and I'm no longer on the pill and don't feel the need to be on any type of medication, whether it's to stop the periods being difficult or to be in a situation where I'm managing a menopause. And so as long as I keep my body clear through, you know, sort of drinking plenty of water and getting rid of any toxins that build up, which is what the monthly cycle is all about. And when you're in the menopause, you have to get rid of the toxins in a different way. And I believe that that's why the sweats come out, and that's why the body will detoxify anything that shouldn't be there in whatever way that it does. And just because I don't subscribe to it, that's my personal journey and my personal experience. And I'm not saying that anybody else that has symptoms, it's that they're creating them. It's just that there is a system where people are suffering, and I, you know, I don't diminish that at all. It is quite frightening for some people, and then there are others that experience the menopause with no symptoms whatsoever. So I feel it's about what we focus on, and if we focus more on the symptoms being terrible, then whatever we're focusing on gets bigger. And so it is important to look after yourself first, physically, emotionally, and mentally, because the menopause will bring out anything that you're not coping with.
So
very
Caroline,
interesting, actually, Caroline.
This is interesting because I hear that in your teens you had very painful, heavy periods. Is that correct?
It was very challenging. I was in a lot of pain, and it was when I was a very sickly child. And when I changed the way that I viewed things in terms of living in a different way, my world changed.
Yeah. And then you went onto the pill, and then your periods disappeared altogether after the pill?
They were much more regular and much more okay. It was when I joined Holland & Barrett as a manager that I learned about different things, you know, sort of different. I understood, you know, how illness was created and how dis-ease becomes very much a part of our experiences in life. And so I manage, you know, sort of what's going on that I'm not handling in terms of emotions, feelings, and situations. But I don't just talk about stuff. I live my life through things that are challenging. I'm not just purporting to say things. You know, I am challenged with the everyday things that everybody else is challenged with, and I manage them in the ways that I need to so that I don't suffer physically, mentally, and emotionally. But I'm human, so of course we all do.
Well,
Absolutely.
I just feel Honestly, I feel it's wonderful what you're all saying and everything, but I feel like I've been in a doctor's surgery for the last 15 minutes. Honestly, I mean, they say that you learn something new every day, but on a spiritual, conscious level, periods, even though they're connected with Mother Earth, very rooted, at the same time, if we are ascending from a carbon-based body to a more lighter body, then periods will not be as heavy as they have been, and menopause will not exist because we're going to be in a lighter body, because we're going to shift our mind. Because at the same time, it's been shown all this about people's symptoms. My own mom went through major symptoms. My best friend went through the hot showers. I remember I was out with her. I said, "What's wrong? You're sweating like crazy. What's going on?" I said, "Is that curry too hot for you?" And she said, no, not at all. And she was sweating buckets, literally. And the room was really cold. But that's how I kind of experienced that. But for me personally, I started to experience, I had it where I had no periods. And then suddenly my period started to flow, literally. And I had 2 periods in 1 month. And the intensity of the pain was crazy. It was exactly what I was reminded when I first started my period when I was 13. So it was very strange how things have gone for me. And the last 6 months, I have had no period. So obviously, as what Dr. Jacalyn was saying, up to a year, if you have no period, then you are in the menopause. So with regards to the global humanity consciousness, if we're all thinking the pain of this, and women are fueling that and fueling it, and even the TV, they're all talking about periods and how heavy and the symptoms, then all we're going to do is activate it even more. So yes, we are coming away from a carbon-based body, which is a 3-dimensional, which is 3D. We are now going into a lighter body because we're in purification times. So as what Caroline was saying, purification, when you have your period, you get rid of toxins. Right? So therefore, we're in purification time. So we will ascend to have no more of these menopause because they're low vibration.
I love that. And, you know, that takes me to, and we have people all around the world watching and listening today. There are certain societies and religions around the world that almost treat a period as a very dirty time for a woman to go through, and they can be put to one side. And you can imagine the stress and strain on the emotions and the psyche, feeling that you're not quite socially acceptable because you're a woman. So to be able to discuss that other side, the lightness of being and changing things, gives somebody some sort of ability to feel perhaps a little bit more hopeful. But it must be quite dire to have to deal with that. And I had friends, I had friends, like I don't anymore, but I had friends who were part of the Greek church, and we grew up as teenagers, and the whole dealing of these young teenagers in the Greek church when it was their time of month. And they weren't allowed to go to church because they were dirty and this sort of thing. And in a modern society where these girls were being teenagers in modern society, that conflict must be really, really difficult to deal with. And I mean, if there's anybody out there that would like to add to those thoughts, who are listening to us or watching us, it would be very interesting to see how people deal with it. I saw two Greek teenage girls just become rebellious, and so they conformed when they were around their parents and the church, but became very rebellious behind their backs. So it's a really interesting juggle of being a woman and changing how that is handled in this day and age. Anybody have thoughts on that?
I was going to say, I resonate with you in that there's many cultures that believe that the period is, you know, the woman is dirty, when really, as what Caroline was saying, if they're getting rid of your toxins in your body, it's the most purifying time, really. It's just a lack of education, that's all. And it's very sad in the way that these women feel subjugated. They feel they feel trodden on because they're a woman, because they have this period. And we should celebrate the period. We go, hey, come on, my period's coming. You know, it's like everyone's going to go, hey, she's having a period. Woo! Woo! You know?
So agree. I mean, if there were no period, there would be no men in the world. If there were no periods, there would be no men in the world. And yet, so often that male energy wants to bring that dirty thing is what created them. So does that make them dirty or other women dirty? No, it's all part of the most beautiful cycle of life. And when a man can celebrate a woman's cycle and understand that he is present because of those cycles, and his heart opens, new conversations can begin.
I do believe it's about education. It's, you know, sort of a better understanding of the feminine body and how it operates and how it works, and how a woman carries a child and how it's created to, you know, she has to be purification in itself. And so that's the body's way of purifying the internal body to be the best possible incubation for that child. And so when we think of it like that, you know, sort of the body every month is clearing out everything that shouldn't be there to produce the ideal incubation for having a baby, so it doesn't suffer. Which is why they talk about, you know, the mother shouldn't be taking any drugs or any alcohol or smoking, because it's a direct feed into the baby. And so this is the way that the woman can let go of everything that's toxic. And I'm sure that the menopause is another similar vein, in that when people are sweating, this is where the body is letting go of any toxins that are in the body and releasing them, so it purifies the entire system.
I just got a really weird picture.
You know, also in the same...
I just got a weird picture, Janetta. I just got Mother Earth, the planetary being, the body, yeah? So when she's in her purification time, she's got the body of water, because Earth is consumed, so much absorbed in water, so purification. So the oil is the toxin coming through. So she's creating every day, every minute, every hour, every day. So the period for her is the oil.
Oh wow. I love it.
I know my mind just
that's an analogy. It would be nice to get that drawn. Perhaps Maddie, you and I should go on to AI and try and get an AI app to draw that for us. It would be really very interesting. And what I was going to say then is, having brought down certain religions and societies for saying that this is a dirty happening. There are some where there's a celebration when a girl steps into her period as well, and there's a party, and it's like, congratulations, and we love and adore you, and now you can bring in the next generation, and we are so grateful, and we love you and adore you. And that must make such a difference to be able to, because it's quite a thing as a teenager has their first period. It's quite a thing to adapt to in that first month and first couple of months, to have that backup and support. Can you imagine if all societies were able to do that? What a difference it would make.
Yeah. Absolutely. And at the same time, I do feel that when somebody goes through the menopause, it is then a liberation of a time that they have to be performing. So there's a performing period of their life, and then there's a liberation of performance. I haven't been given that luxury, so I'm still performing. But, you know, it is insightful to look at it like that, that it becomes very freeing for a woman not to feel that she has to suffer. And it's a brief period of time for many women to go through the menopause. It's just a difficult time for many women. And this is certainly a topic that hasn't really been talked about in previous times. It's only become very topical in recent years, because it was not something that people talked about only to themselves, and it wasn't really shared in terms of media coverage. But now there is an awful lot of conversation, external conversation in the media about menopause, which I feel is important, because many men don't understand what's going on. And it's important that that conversation continues, because every woman is individual, and we're all different, and we'll all experience the menopause as a woman in different ways. And there is no right or wrong. There is only your way of experiencing it.
That's interesting you say that, Caroline, because, you know, on the TV, when I was growing up, it was all about Lilettes or Tampax, and they had these fantastic pictures of these women and these girls, but they never had anything about advice on menopause or actual medication or natural information about menopause. So it's fantastic you've picked up on that. I really love that. Thank you for spotlighting that. Loved it. Thank you.
Yeah. I must say, I mean, there's so much to talk about this on a medical level and a spiritual level that's even deeper than we've gone to today. But I think if we've made a difference for ourselves and anybody out there listening and watching today, I think these are good starting conversations for some. And we've now come to the ending off of our program today. And I'd like to give each one of us the opportunity to share what we do and why we're here and how we can help people. So over to you, Dr. Madalene Chan.
Oh, thank you, Janetta. Thank you, Caroline. I would like anyone to contact me who is at a point in their life where they have question marks, and they're looking for a different way of creatively expressing themselves. So if, for example, I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm a novelist, and I'm a creative heart awakened. And what I can do is help you connect to your creative genius. However, I should warn you, I do trigger you, and I will trigger you, because you will experience an elated heart feeling of love, but at the same time, you're going to experience a conflict with your ego. So this is, I'm going to warn you. I'm going to absolutely warn you. Not all of you are going to be, magnetized towards me, but those that are ready will. Do yourself a favor and contact me, because if you want to know who you truly are, on a co-creative level, on a level of not 3D, but understanding 4D into 5D, but coming through 3D. Oh, wow, it's so good. You know, please contact me, madalenecarolchan@gmail.com. Find me on madalenechan.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn. And don't forget, we have Star Child. And before I go, also, we have here we go. It's the World Jenny's Day, which I will let Jenetta explain. And I'm part of an executive producer, and it's a world 24-hour global. And we're looking for all artists to participate. And it's a celebration of mental health awareness, in bringing this mental health awareness in a comfortable way of expressing and talking in today's society. Okay, that's me.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. And over to you, Caroline.
Thank you, Jenetta. Well, I help you literally bust your stress. So if you are suffering with any type of physical, emotional, mental, or behavioral stress, and it's whatever you're complaining about. If you're saying I'm not stressed, but you're not sleeping, if you're saying I'm not stressed, but you have relationship issues or intimacy issues or libido issues, if you're complaining about a headache or a back pain, that is stress manifesting in your body. So if you have any type of physical, emotional, mental, or behavioral stress, reach out to me on email, nomorestress@live.co.uk. I offer a free initial discovery call and consultation, and also a plan and a program to help you with more of your symptoms. So please reach out to me on nomorestress@live.co.uk to arrange and book in your consultation, or call me on +44 if you're international, 0 if you're local, 7523 120 189. And I look forward to helping you literally bust
your stress. Bust your stress. Bust your stress. Sorry. Dr. Jacalyn said it's at the top of the chart, so it's something that's been predicted.
Thank you, Caroline. And then just to end off on my side of life, I have a process called the Epiphany process, which helps you with all types of deep extreme emotion or overthinking, where you start finding you're over-analyzing, and I can help you with that. I've helped many people around the world. But our big drive now is what Madalene was talking about, which is we have World Jenny's Day coming up on the 10th of October. World Jenny's Day is held on World Mental Health Day. It's been formed using the performing arts and the arts to normalize conversations around depression and suicide, after I lost my 16-year-old daughter, Jenny, to suicide on that day. She died on the 10th of October. And that day is a celebration of mental health wellness after a year of addressing through performing arts and the arts and exercise, through fundraising, using specific ways to change people. We now celebrate over 24 hours streaming live here on USA Global TV and radio. Over those 24 hours, finishing with a gala evening in London for the last few hours. And we would love to invite you to either participate and become one of our back people and help us. We can never have enough help. Or if you are able to perform, please contact us to perform. Or if you would like to watch this, it's quite something. It's now the 4th World Jenny's Day where we've done exceptional things. Then mark it on your calendar. But to find out more, it's World Jenny's Day, WORLDJENNYS Day.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. And I think with that, we can hand over to some sponsorship news that's coming up. Lots of love to everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, I'm children's author Diane Floyd Bain, and I am co-host for several of the USA Global TV and radio shows. I joined because of the purpose of the USA Global TV and Radio. They provide content for the viewers and listeners, an opportunity for people around the world to have their own show or even be a guest on an existing show. We truly believe in helping others get their positive message out to the world. We also have the opportunity for the listeners. You can watch on several platforms, and on YouTube, you can ask questions and even give a comment. We absolutely love it. I love being part of the USA Global TV and Radio because I love positive messages. And who doesn't? And we need more of that in the world. We are a family, and we hope you will join us and become part of the family too.
If I look into your heart, are you looking back at me? Am I everything you want, baby? If my heart was in your hands, would it be for you and me? Would you wanna keep it close, baby? Right on time, find the right guy, the one I dream to be. Give it all that you can, stumble and fall. Love will set me free. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. If you told me to my face, you would lie right through your teeth. Would anybody know this is meant for me? I'm not the one to cry or throw my heart away. Can you show me all your loving? 'Cause I'm tired of these games. Right on time, find the right guy, the one I dream to be. Give it all that you can, stumble and fall. Love will set me free. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. We'll play the game, make it up, fake it up. It's what we do. We'll play the game, shake it up, wake it up. I'm thinking of you. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Reach for the stars. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. Baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby.
This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes, building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners. For their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate your success today.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating warm memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Bella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Bella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Bella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
Hello everyone, I'm Simon MacDonald. I live in the West Highlands of Scotland, a very beautiful part of the world. Seems a long way from the USA Global TV station. But remember, USA Global TV is worldwide. It's a fantastic platform. And every Wednesday, I come along here as part of the show of the United Kingdom News and Culture. And it's just like a family reunion each time. It's one of these amazing stations that has such a beautiful, friendly, and intelligent atmosphere as well. And we reach out to an audience in the most unimaginable places. And I came here I don't know, must be over a year ago now. I was introduced by Dr. Philip Chan, and I met Ian Plum-Turner and Helen Achard, who are co-presenters on the show, and then Diane Floyd-Bem came along as well. And I mean, the five of us, Dr. Jacalyn, of course, who is our host and our mentor, has just made this show work so well. Tremendous people, lovely time we have, and we impart a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. Nothing's rehearsed. It's all done off the cuff, and it all just gels. And we get great feedback from people coming back and saying how they're enjoying the show. It's lovely to hear, and it's lovely to get that interaction from outside as well. And we're all listeners, and some of us are elevated listeners as well. So we enjoy every second of it, and we hope you do too.